But you know, I'd read a book when I was 12 called To Build a Fire, Jack London. And in this book, it was about this old Norseman, you know, rugged old guy that lived up in the far north, and they had a saying that you never went out when it was too cold. And you could tell that it was too cold when you spit and it cracked before it would hit the ground. And so this old Norseman, you know, he wanted to get back to his cabin. He knew it was too cold, but he just decided he was going to go. So he and his dog set out, you know, down the path. The other thing is you never travel when it's cold like that after a warm time, because what happens is it gets cold and you get a little bit of ice over the top of these pools of water, and if you get wet, that's really dangerous when it's that cold. But he just said, I'll be careful, and he took off, and sure enough, he stepped through the ice and he got wet. Well, now you've got to dry out. And so the story talks about his efforts to build this fire to dry out. But when it gets so cold, you know, first he was trying to build a fire, and he was trying to get the kindling together, and he's trying to, you know, he's already shaking, and it's difficult to get the little pile of the kindling and just right, and he has trouble striking the matches and everything, but he finally gets it going, and up comes the fire. And so he's just putting, you know, some little bit larger sticks and so forth on the fire. Another cardinal rule, you never build a fire under a tree. And so he built a fire, and sure enough, it melted some of the snow. The snow came off of the pine bough and went right on the fire. He tried to dig it out, but it was gone. And now he's really getting cold. And so he can hardly hang on, and he's, you know, shaking everything. He realized he can't build a fire because his hands are too cold. So he says, oh, the only thing I've got left, what I'll do is I get the dog over here, I kill the dog, I put my hands inside the dog, I thaw out my hands, and then I can build a fire. So he calls the dog over. But the dog kind of knows there's something up, you know. And so the dog is kind of, you've seen them when they're trying to come forward, but they're trying to stay back, you know. He's giving it one of those. And finally lunges at the dog with the knife, but the dog gets away and runs down the trail. So now he's starting to panic, and he's starting to build, you know, he's trying to get the things together, but nothing's working, and now his hands are almost frozen. You can feel frostbite coming into his face, and so he gets up, and he runs down the trail as fast as he can go. And then he's getting tired, and finally he starts to slow down, and all of a sudden he can't go any further, and he lies down in this kind of a snowdrift, and this warm feeling comes over him. So I had this thought in playing this game that we needed the rum in order to start the fire. There's no way to start the fire without the rum. I killed my entire team because they would say, it's 30 degrees, you don't need the rum. I don't care, the rum, you know.
So that warm feeling was from exercise or death?
Death. Yes, he was gone, as they say.
Okay, well,
but you can see here's a paradigm that was created back when I was 12 years old, and I just hang on to it for dear life. And of course, I ended up, you know, killing my entire team. So.